So then let's start with the first topic. Now you need to get A4 size sheets because we'll be scribbling a lot. You write in the horizontal mode. You write in the horizontal mode and give this heading. I'll start the first topic. It's a very interesting topic. I'll take two topics today. I'll first take critical minerals, for which there is no source. I'll then take semiconductors, for again there's no source. So let's start with the first topic. Give the heading. Write down critical minerals. Critical minerals. First question: where will we use it in the examination? Though even there is no strong correlation, like when you read a topic, you say it is GS 1, 2, 3. That doesn't work in the past 3-4 years. But I'll still tell you, for your civil services mains, this can be asked in General Studies paper 1. And when I say paper 1, it can be asked in critical minerals and their global distribution. Global distribution basically means we look at a list of 30 critical minerals which has been released by the government. We try to just have a look that where are they available. For example, in 2024 prelims, there was a question that came up that said that 70% of cobalt in the entire world is manufactured or produced in which country. So for that list, we need to understand that which minerals available in which country. And then primarily in General Studies paper 3, this is a very important topic where we need to know your clean energy transition. Clean energy transition, and it can be also asked in case of, write down, environmental concerns. Environmental concerns. Clean energy transition, and it can be also asked in case of environmental concerns. Before I open up this topic, from now on, if you come across this term critical mineral, whenever we teach any topic, that topic has got a set of important keywords, which is the lingo of that topic. Whenever you speak critical minerals, ever in your prelims, ever in your mains, ever in the interview, these 2-3 keywords you need to always remember. I'll explain them later. So just give this first subheading, just write down perspective. When I say perspective मतलब thought. थॉट मतलब हिंदी में सोच, कि अगर क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स का नाम हम लें तो 2 कीवर्ड्स आपके दिमाग में जरूर आने चाहिए जिसको हम डिस्कस करेंगे. फर्स्ट राइट डाउन, कैन एनीवन गेस? Because the budget was very heavy with critical minerals. There's a critical mineral mission which will be launched in the forthcoming 2-3 months. Ministry of Mines is working on that. What's the first keyword? अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं critical minerals, सबसे पहला शब्द क्या आएगा? जार्गन्स नहीं, जार्गन्स का इस्तेमाल सिविल सर्विसेज में नहीं करना होता. जार्गन्स मतलब टेक्निकल टर्म्स, हमें सिंप्लीफाई करना है. पहला शब्द क्या आएगा? लिखिए. यस, नो वो एग्जाम्पल है. नहीं, yes, you write down this first keyword. Write down SCC. SCC. What is SCC? Write down supply chain concerns. I'll tell you what it means. The moment I say critical minerals, there are some constraints that we have in supply chain where these minerals are found in one place, they are processed in a second country, and they are manufactured in a third country with respect to raw material. These countries are limited. which we'll just discuss. So the first keyword is supply chain concerns. And then one more word, which is write down, very important. This is the latest keyword, write down twin transition. Write down twin transition. Is my handwriting fine? The online ones, I'm just getting familiar also. Twin transition. Twin transition के दो मतलब है. कौन से transition? Twin transition मतलब transition means going from one place to another. So these critical minerals, they are helping in twin transition. What is that twin transition? दो चीजों पे पहुंचने के लिए critical minerals जरूरी है. What is that? Yes, very important. Write down first is clean energy transition. Clean energy transition. And something very important, which is connected with the next topic of semiconductors. What is the next transition? The PM recently spoke about it. You know, in the second week of September, there was a conference that was held, and he spoke about this twin transition, clean energy and write down digital transition. Twin transition and digital transition. No, not quantum mission, not EVs. So when I say critical minerals, two keywords will strike you. First is twin transition. Second is supply chain concerns for which we want to be resilient. This is the first thing. Now you make the entire structure of what I'll take up in this topic. So you use the entire page and you write down. First, we'll define what are critical minerals. First, write down what are critical minerals. That's the first thing that you would like to write. What are critical minerals? Simply use short forms. They'll help you in revision. What are CM? Second, this is slightly factual. Only factual area in this topic is this. We'd like to remember the list of critical minerals. We'd like to discuss and revise list of critical minerals, 30 of them. Then third, we'd like to discuss their importance. कहाँ critical minerals जरूरी हैं? List of critical minerals, and then we'd like to discuss their importance. Then we discuss number 4, issues or challenges. Issues or challenges. क्या मुद्दे हैं critical mineral की mining में, exploration में? We'll all discuss that. And then so when you have an issue, what's the next problem? No. Solution comes later. As an administrator, if there's an issue that you are facing, what's the next step that you will take? Can you keep this chair? Write down. This is very important. This has to be on your tips. Steps taken by Government of India. Steps taken by Government of India. Steps taken by Government of India. Then 6th, write down outlook. Outlook means the future. Outlook means the future. In civil services language, specifically in geography, we call it, they ask you a question like this. Discuss the problems and prospects of critical minerals. So in bracket, you will write down prospects. कि हम critical minerals बार बार बोल रहे हैं. क्या भारत इस सेक्टर में राइज कर सकता है? Outlook. And then finally, what you recommended way before, you'll write down the 7th point. The 7th point that you'll write, this will be write down your recommendations or solutions. Your recommendations or solutions. I wanted you to write in the horizontal mode, because after I would have done this topic, you would have written down keywords in your notes and you would have by-hearted it. Par koi baat nahi. This first page will be your revision page. Now you come to a new page and write down the first structure that we'll have. the first structure that we'll have, write down, come to a new page, write the first point, write down what are critical minerals. In case if I'm not visible, just tell me, I'll move accordingly. Is it fine? Is it fine? You want to write it or not? Should I start or no? Should I? Okay, now let's start with the first point. Write down. Yes. I would like to write. अच्छा 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 अच्छा. So you are saying कि I use only this side of the screen. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now let's start with the first point. Write down what are critical minerals. Definition is very important. Where will you use this in the examination? It's introduction. Any question on critical minerals, you need to use this definition. What are critical minerals? Write down. Critical minerals are minerals. Critical minerals are minerals in bracket or elements. Critical minerals are minerals or elements which are important. Critical minerals are minerals or elements which are important. Number one, for economic development. Economic development. Second, a very important keyword, national security. Critical minerals are minerals or elements important for economic development and national security, and it is not over, and are subject to what? Are subject to. There are so many minerals, elements important for the country. For example, economic development, the most important is steel, which is a part of your IIP. Then you've got coal. Then you've got aluminium. Then you've got copper. Then you've got chromium. Then you've got manganese. All of these are elements asked in the examination prelims, static area geography, NCRT. Question comes like this: 90% of chromium is found in Odisha. 90% of nickel is found in MP. Something like this. So are they critical minerals? Is iron a critical mineral? I'm saying it's important for economic development. There cannot be a single industry which doesn't have iron. So what else is remaining? Yes, and no, there's a catch here. And subject to, underline this keyword. This is the catch, very important. Underline. सब कुछ underline नहीं करना होता आंसर में. वो कीवर्ड जो बहुत जरूरी हैं, they are subject to. Write down. Supply, very important. क्या कीवर्ड था? SCC. दिन में 10 बार बोलिए क्लास के बाद. SCC. Supply chain constraints. They are subject to supply chain constraints. They are subject to supply chain constraints because, number one, now this is very interesting. Number one, you look at iron. Iron as an element, as a metal, right? It's widely spread across the world. In technical language of mining, I'll call it a major mineral. Let's not go into that, just get an idea. Let's say chromium, let's say manganese, but that is not the case here. The first reason why they have constrained is because they are low in abundance. Low in abundance का मतलब क्या है? Low in abundance का मतलब क्या है? Limited कैसे? नो अवेलेबिलिटी कैसे? नहीं, नो, यू राइट डाउन जियोलॉजिकली. Geologically, the nature has created them in such a manner that iron ore can be extracted, mined in a good quantity, but this cannot be the case with a critical mineral. So they are found geologically by nature, they are found in certain conditions which I'll discuss with you, that वो मिलते ही बहुत कम मात्रा में है. जैसे अगर एक माइन है और मैंने खदान से आयरन माइन किया तो वो मिलियन टन में प्रोडक्शन होगी, पर ऐसा फॉर एग्जांपल जर्मेनियम, गैलियम, एंटीमनी, बिस्मथ, लिथियम, इनके लिए नहीं हो सकता. उनकी क्वांटिटी होगी 1 पार्ट पर मिलियन, 1 पार्ट पर बिलियन. सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज दे आर लो इन अबंडेंस. एक तो पहले ही कम है, दे आर लो नेचुरली, जियोलॉजिकली कम मिलते हैं. एंड राइट डाउन वन मोर पॉइंट, एडेड कंसर्न, low in abundance, they are geologically controlled, and second, they are also geopolitical threats. Geopolitical threats regarding their availability. I'll just give you one example. I have not disclosed the list. This is the most important. Write down REE. REE. This is a very important buzzword. Since the past 5 years, we expect a question. It has not come up. REE is called as rare earth element. There's a catch to it. I'll discuss that. I hope all of you know that, REE. But there's a catch to it. I'll discuss it in the end. REE, just like to inform you, 63% is found in China. 63% is found in China. And that is not all. एक तो मिनरल मिलता ही 60% चीन में है. इसके अलावा एक और कंसर्न है. क्या हो सकता है वो? Yes. Second part, in terms of processing, this is even dangerous. More than 90% of it is processed in China. 90% से ज्यादा चाइना में प्रोसेस होता है. यूएस की बड़ी बड़ी behemoth कंपनीज हैं. They have got mines. US is very rich by minerals. They have got mines. They have got rare earth elements, but they are outsourcing the task of processing. I'll explain you what is processing. Just get familiar with the term. They are exporting that mine, जो खदान से निकाला element. It has got gangue. It has got impurities. That is sent to China. They reprocess, and then it can be used in a sector. So when somebody is asking me, what is a critical mineral or an element, though it's wrong, the government has done a mistake. It's not mineral, they all are elements. So we'll say that these are critical minerals in bracket, or elements are elements or minerals which are important for national security and national development. However, they have got one more characteristic, that they are subject to supply chain constraints. Because of what? Because of number one, limited abundance, low abundance, and they are less. And also along with that, they have got geopolitical concerns. Is it fine? Something more I'd like you to write. Just write down some other characteristics. This is the main, but we'd like to discuss some more. Write down other characteristics. This is for prelims. You can use in answers also. Other characteristics, number one, they have got no substitute. इनका कोई replacement नहीं है. There is no substitute. Can you give me an example? For example, cars. For example, in 70s, 80s, when the cars they were made, they were very heavily built. Why? 80 के जमाने की, 90s के जमाने की जैसे एम्बेसडर कार थी, वो बहुत, हम कहते थे कि बहुत बल्कि है, एक्सीडेंट हो उस गाड़ी को कुछ नहीं होता. पद्मिनी प्रीमियर जो फिएट लाई थी उसे कुछ नहीं होता. क्यों है? They were made of iron. But now, because of technology that we've got in automobiles, in cars, we are replacing it with aluminium. And the next way forward is what? Carbon fiber. For this entire automobile sector, I have given you 3 replacements in the past 40 years, but let me tell you, for a, let's say, wind power plant, for a solar power plant, any sector that uses this critical mineral, till right now, in terms of technology presently, there is no substitute. Right. Second, just write one more point. They are found in low abundance. They are found in low abundance. And then just write one more point here, that the list of critical minerals varies. The list of critical minerals varies from one country to another. One country to another. जो भारत की क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स की लिस्ट है वो 30 है. ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अलग हैं, यूएस के अलग हैं, जापान के अलग है. इनफैक्ट बहुत कम देशों ने लिस्ट रिलीज करी है बिकॉज पता ही नहीं है इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है. क्यों? अगर इतनी जरूरी इंपॉर्टेंट रिसोर्स है और क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स, one more fact, just be familiar and just listen to it, I'll discuss it later. 30% of them, they are found in Africa. तो वो उन्होंने क्यों नहीं लिस्ट रिलीज करी? हमारे पास तो है ही नहीं. 30 मिनरल की लिस्ट में 10 तो 100% इंपोर्ट होते हैं, अभी दिखाएंगे आपको. जो बचे हुए 4-5 हैं वो 80% हम बाहर से उसका आयात करवा रहे हैं. वी आर इंपोर्टिंग इट. क्या रीजन है? अफ्रीका की लिस्ट ऑफ क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स क्यों नहीं आई? एक्सप्लॉयटेशन तो पूरा वर्ल्ड का क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स का अफ्रीका में. इनफैक्ट वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज यू आस्क्ड मी, 70% of cobalt is found where? In DRC. But I'll tell you one more thing, that is mined from mines in DRC. It is all done by companies which is all controlled by Chinese. It's like saying कि अगर भारत में मैकडॉनल्ड्स का बर्गर हम सब खरीदते हैं तो वो वहां सारा काम सब इंडियंस करते हैं, पर वो एक्चुअली पेरेंट कंपनी यूएस की मैकडॉनल्ड्स है, सारा पैसा वहां जाता है. तो अफ्रीका की क्यों नहीं आई? बताइए, सोचिए, बताइए क्या रीजन है? गवर्नमेंट प्रेजेंस तो देयर इज लॉट ऑफ, राइट डाउन, दिस इज वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट टेक्निकल पॉइंट, ये आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. देयर इज अ कॉम्प्लेक्स वैल्यू चेन. ये बहुत जरूरी है. व्हेन यू से कॉम्प्लेक्स वैल्यू चेन, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग? Complex value chain. Iron's value chain is not complex, but you know lithium's value chain is very complex. What's the reason? Bataiye. First, I'll tell you. You try to understand this word because I've not discussed value chain. When I say this is very important, this is the key to what UPSC will ask you. Value chain means number 1, exploration. Dhoondna. This is the first step. Millions of money is involved here. If you come from a good college, like let's say IIT, and you got mechanical engineering, you would know that the best of the best packages in mechanical would go to people who get a job in which company? No, there's a company which is called as Schlumberger. नाम सुना है आपने? Schlumberger is a company which is expert in oil exploration. YouTube देखिएगा कक्षा के बाद, उसी पे ध्यान लगाइए, इधर उधर मत ध्यान लगाइए, बिकॉज एक्सप्लोरेशन ऑफ अ मिनरल इज वेरी टफ. You are actually scouting in lakhs of kilometers, and that is why nobody is willing to invest. I'll discuss that problem. First, आयरन ओर एक्सप्लोर करना बहुत आसान है, जियोलॉजिकली ढूंढना बहुत इजी है, बहुत सारे सर्वे के टेक्निक्स हैं. इनको अब एक्सप्लोर नहीं कर सकते, नंबर 1. फिर एक्सप्लोर किया, अब मैंने ढूंढ लिया लिथियम. अभी कहां ढूंढा था भारत में? जम्मू कश्मीर तो बहुत बड़ा है. रियासी जिला है जहां पे अभी अटैक्स भी हुए थे, उसको वो भी पढ़ाएंगे आपको इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी में, क्यों जम्मू में अधिक से अधिक अटैक्स हो रहे हैं. रियासी यू वुड हैव नोन बिकॉज ऑफ अ वेरी पॉपुलर डैम, इट इज कॉल्ड एज सलाल डैम. Have you heard?
Yes.
Indian geography discussed in the map class. There's a river which is called as Chenab that flows there. So for a good reason, we had taken the first step of exploring Dhunda lithium. What happened? What happened to lithium? Have you started mining it? No, why? Because it is not of that grade which can be mined. इस बहुत बड़ी क्लास है, ये पूरा देश है भारत का, यहाँ पे लिथियम मिल गया, तो इसको माइन करने के लिए लिथियम है, बट आई शुड हैव हैड द मनी, नो, आई शुड हैव गॉट द स्किल. स्केल ऑफ ऑपरेशन भी तो होना चाहिए. एक तो पूरी क्लास में यहाँ लिथियम है, जैसे कहाँ होता है लिथियम? ABC. Yes, very good. ABC. You saw that in the telegram, this thing. Yes, Argentina, Bolivia, and yes. So there, and that's very interesting. I'll discuss that later. Why it is found in a capacity where you can mine it. In India, in Riyasi, it could not have been mined. So there's a second concern you write down. When I say value chain, explore kiya, fir mine kiya. Just give me 1 minute. We'll mine that. Mining will take place. निकालना, खदान से निकालना. अब निकाल लिया, उसके बाद आ गया लिथियम. लिथियम और दैट्स बेसिकली ग्रेनाइट. जो आप घरों में ग्रेनाइट का पत्थर देखते हैं, तो एक्चुअली भारत में वहां मिलता है, वहां किसी और फॉर्म में मिलता है. विल डिस्कस दैट लेटर. दैट ग्रेनाइट you've taken out that rock, it has got lithium. Now what will you do? बताइए online students. Refining is a loose term. I'll call it extraction in English, means mining. In mining language, I'd like to give you a keyword here. It is called as beneficiation. Keyword civil services में बारी बारी मत डालिए. Keywords सरल भाषा में आपको अपने आंसर्स लिखने हैं. जितना कॉम्प्लेक्स करेंगे उतने ही नंबर कम मिलेंगे. So you write beneficiation. Is it clear? Beneficiation. Ore beneficiation is the keyword. You've taken out the ore. You are now processing it. So write in bracket processing also. अब प्रोसेस भी कर लिया, आ गया आपके पास लिथियम. नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या है? प्रोसेसिंग इज डिफिकल्ट. नाउ व्हाट्स द नेक्स्ट स्टेप? एक्सप्लोरेशन हैज हैपेंड, माइनिंग हैज हैपेंड, beneficiation. Is it visible? Is it clear, all of you? Just stop me. I'm assuming it's clear. Beneficiation, उसके बाद एंड यूज. अफ्रीका में कहां गाड़ियां बन सकती हैं, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स, कहां से सेमीकंडक्टर्स आएंगे, कहां से इंटेल अपनी फैक्ट्री लगाएगी. तो अगर दे हैव एक्सप्लोर्ड, दे हैव माइंड और आ गया लिथियम, अब यूज कहां करेंगे उसको? भारत में तो कुछ भी नहीं है. इसको हम इश्यूज में करेंगे, वही एग्जाम में वही पूछेंगे आपसे. अगर क्वेश्चन आएगा तो वहीं से आएगा. बट द एंटायर वैल्यू चेन इज मिसिंग, एंड दैट्स द कीवर्ड. फॉर क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स you are dependent on supply chain. There is no substitute, and it has also got a complex chain. So you write down processing, and then you write down finally end use. And then finally after this you write down a simple point. Write down, shall I write it here in the end? Write down impact on the economy. Impact on the economy is relatively higher. किससे relatively higher? मेजर मिनरल्स नाम बताइए. बिना एग्जाम्पल के मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. हर चीज में एग्जाम्पल देना जरूरी है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सम ऑफ यू आर सेइंग कि क्लासरूम इज नॉट गुड. गिव मी एग्जाम्पल व्हाई. उसका क्लासरूम इतना अच्छा है, वैसे ठीक है. सो यू नीड टू गिव एग्जाम्पल. बिना एग्जाम्पल के नंबर नहीं आएंगे. आप जब तक एग्जाम्पल, इसको अंग्रेजी में बोलते हैं सब्सटैंशिएट या एनोटेट. आई विल शो यू हाउ टू राइट एन आंसर. पर बिना एग्जाम्पल के मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. सो यू गिव मी एन एग्जाम्पल. उदाहरण दीजिए. कोल इज नॉट अ, कोल हाइड्रोकार्बन है. कोल मिनरल नहीं कहते. मिनरल्स अलग हैं. मिनरल्स आर natural substances from where you get a metal or an element. Coal is a hydrocarbon. Natural gas is hydrocarbon. Write down iron. और बताइए. Bauxite is a mineral. Bauxite से निकलता क्या है? Aluminium. By the way, इस साल एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था प्रीलिम्स में, ilmenite and rutile. Rutile is TiO2 and ilmenite is FeTiO3. I am not teaching chemistry, by the way. but it's a very important resource for titanium, which is one of the critical minerals. आया समझ में? तो अभी तक क्या है? What are critical minerals? Definition. Three. Listen to me. I'll make you write in the end. Keywords: national security, economic development, supply chain constraints. Other criterias. The list is varying from one country to another. Second is it's a complex value chain, and their abundance is less. They are much more important than other elements, metals of the economy. ठीक है. अब थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल पार्ट है. टेक्निकल तो नहीं है, पर याद करने में आपको थोड़ा सा मुश्किल लगेगा. वैसे तो बहुत आसान है. तो आप इसको लिखिए. लिस्ट ऑफ क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स. There are two perspectives here. Like I was appearing for forest services and I had good friends who were very good with elimination. I had a conceptual debate with them always, that they used to tell me that so that's where I'm different. So you can now judge me on that. I used to tell them that you should by heart. By heart करना बहुत आसान है. This exam is about by hearting. So you cannot eliminate everything. I'll show you to eliminate also in a question, but you should try to by heart. For example, these 30 minerals that will give you, UPSC might ask you a question, which of the following are not critical minerals? That can be done by basic IQ. I'll tell you that also. But still you try to by heart, it's very easy. Right? Because they've asked cobalt. This is an area which is opening up. इसको अभी UPSC open up कर रही है. 2-3 साल में मेंस में पूछ सकती है. ठीक है? तो आप इसको लिखिए. List of critical minerals. So you write down, I'll slightly reduce the font size. There are 30 of them. You can also do it in the same way. Write down list of critical minerals. Just one fact I'd like to tell you, not very heavy for your background. So basically the government of India realized in the second term, 2019 के बाद we realized that these minerals are very important. So what they did was like they always do, they had to find a solution. So in 2022, don't write, just get familiar. In the month of June, there was a committee that was formed by the government of India. That was formed under a joint secretary under Ministry of Mines. He was told that you now open the list of every country of the world and now give me a list of 30 top, whatever be the number, give me a list of critical minerals. So this list, they took almost a year. And this list, which I'm telling you, again, that's the reason I'm discussing this topic. This came up in June 2023, just for your information, like this. Recently, critical mineral list was released by the government of India, true. In 2014, the government released critical mineral list, false on that idea. Now, you make a table. You need to write in the vertical mode now. There are 30 of them. Flip your pages by 90 degrees. Write in the vertical mode the online ones. RE, I have not explained Tanvi Dayal. So wait, I'll explain you RE in detail. You listen to me. You write in the vertical mode. And first, write down the name in the first column. Naam likhiye. Second part, largest producer of the world. Zaruri hai. We cannot evade this. Largest producer of the world. And then one more thing, which is the highest levels of, by hearting, which I'd suggest you should do, because this is yet to opened up, yet to be opened up by the examination. So you write down what percentage India imports. This came up in the Express. What percentage India imports? What percentage India imports? की 30 की नाम, उसका सबका नहीं, मेजर मिनरल्स बताइए. कुछ क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स. लिथियम बैटरी, phone battery, heating issue. We are trying to replace lithium batteries in mobile phone by what? What's the alternative? Newspapers. नहीं, aluminium की बैटरी कैसे बन सकती है? At least I don't know. I need to work for the classes then. There are replacement of lithium because of heating is a sodium ion battery. I'll discuss it in the class. Battery technology, don't worry, but just know the name. Lithium, then बताइए. Cobalt, again used in batteries. Then nickel. Then titanium. Apple iPhone released titanium, very light, used in space launch vehicles. Listen to me. So one is what you told me: lithium, cobalt, nickel, titanium. No, that's a good guess. Manganese is a major mineral, not a critical mineral. In some countries, manganese is a critical mineral. That's the point. ऑस्ट्रेलिया का क्रिटिकल मिनरल हो सकता है, भारत का ना हो. बताइए. और चार ही बस सोचिए. मॉल्बीडेनम, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. 40% फ्रॉम चाइना. मैं याद कराऊंगा आपको क्या क्या याद करना है, बस सुनते रहिए. और टैंटलम, टैंटलम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. टैंटलम इज फाउंड इन साउथ अफ्रीका. Tantalum is important because of what? Used in mobile phones, and it's the perfect example of an issue that pertains to critical minerals. Just listen to it. That is when it is mined in Africa, they use artisanal miners. सिर्फ सुनिए. Artisanal miners means छोटे छोटे बच्चे. उन सबको इन मिनरल्स को माइन करने में इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. इसको हम बाद में डिस्कस करेंगे. इसको हम बोलते हैं ESG कंसर्न्स. बिल्कुल लेटेस्ट बज़वर्ड है. जैसे 10 साल पहले सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट था, हम बोलते हैं एनवायरमेंटल कंसर्न्स ऑफ पोल्यूशन, एनवायरमेंटल कंसर्न्स ऑफ क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स. नहीं, अब बोलेंगे ESG कंसर्न्स. आई डिस्कस दैट लेटर. और मॉल्बिडेनम. और बताइए. कैडमियम, रिमेंबर फ्रॉम द कैडबरी चॉकलेट. कैडमियम इज अ critical mineral, yes, again used in batteries. Or graphite, very good. Graphite, potash, phosphorus, very good. Tungsten, very important. फील आ रही है? आप याद करिए. लिखिए निमोनियम. 30 को कैसे याद करना है? लिखिए पहले A, B, B, ABB. Any person studied electrical engineering in class? What is ABB? हाँ, बिल्कुल कंपनी है. कहाँ की? You should have known ABB. They can ask you, and we have to by heart it. ABB कहाँ की कंपनी है? स्विट्जरलैंड की. क्या बनाती है? ट्रांसफॉर्मर. तो ABB याद रखिए. 3 आपको याद हो गए. अभी बताया नहीं A, B और B क्या, धीरे धीरे बताएंगे. फिर C, A, B, C, 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 ABB स्विस कंपनी, CCC ऐसे ही लिखिए. फिर G, 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 ट्रिपल G. वैसे अगर आप बॉक्सिंग के शौकीन है तो एक बहुत जबरदस्त G, ट्रिपल G एक बॉक्सर है. हाँ, ट्रिपल G पता है. ट्रिपल H नहीं, वो तो नकली है. वो WWE, वो हम देखते थे बचपन में. ट्रिपल G इज अ वेरी फेमस बॉक्सर. याद करिए. ABB, CCC, G, G, G. थक गए होंगे तो इसीलिए अगला लिखिए हाफना. आई एम हाफिंग. तो अगला लिखिए. नेक्स्ट इज हाफने से आया हिंदी में हैफनियम. हैफनियम. ABB, CCC, ट्रिपल G, राइट. देन हाफना, हाफनियम. फिर आइए इंडिया, इंडियम. और फिर 2 कॉमन जो आपको सभी को पता है, दैट इज लिथियम एंड मोलिब्डेनम. जस्ट लेट मी पुट द करेक्ट स्पेलिंग. मोलिब्डेनम. कितने हुए अभी तक? ABB, फिर CCC, ट्रिपल G बॉक्सर, हाफना, हाफनियम, इंडिया, लिथियम you all know, molybdenum. Then you write down NN. I'll tell you what is NN. Keep on guessing. What is NN? One is nickel. The other is, I'll tell you, niobium. I'll discuss that later. Then come to very important for infrastructure development, general studies paper 3. It's called as PPP. PPP. PPP के बाद P के बाद कौन सा लेटर आएगा? Q. Q से कुछ भी नहीं है. R. R, R. एक तो आपको पता ही है, रेयर अर्थ एलिमेंट. एक R तो यहीं लिख देते हैं, रेयर अर्थ एलिमेंट. R के बाद S, 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 S. 3 S's. मैं ना भूल जाऊं, पर याद है, मैं नहीं भूलूंगा कुछ भी. उसके बाद E, S के बाद E, 5 T हैं वैसे, T, 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 T. Radium is not a critical mineral. Radium it's an atomic element. I'll discuss radium sometime later, but it's not important for the examination. T, 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 and then 5 times T we have, and then you write down the next is last V and Z. V and Z. Now listen to me carefully. First things first, what is the formula? ABB, CCC, triple G, hafnium, indium, lithium, molybdenum. After that, NN, then PPP, you all know. After P, RR, 3 times S. After that, 5 times T. V and Z. अब इसको जरा भरें एक बार. Tell me, give me the, what is A? अब बताइए, apply or yes, very good. Write down. A is antimony. Antimony. B is, yeah, B is bismuth, and there's one more B which came up in the prelims 4 years back. Which of the following is a minor mineral? 5 options. Out of them, you had to identify. So this is very important. It's been used in the examination. It's called as beryllium. Beryllium. Then you write down bismuth. Bismuth. Then cadmium. Then cobalt. Yes. I'll just write the largest producer of cobalt because I know it. It's called as DRC. Democratic Republic of Congo. After this, C is copper. Largest producer of copper is? Very important mine. Yes. Child. Then comes G, gallium, germanium, and gallium, germanium, and graphite. Graphite. All 3 of them, gallium, germanium, and graphite, all 3 of them, I tell you here itself, the largest producer is gallium, germanium. China had banned the exports of gallium, germanium to many countries that we'll discuss as an issue regarding supply chain constraints that these minerals have. So you remember it. All the G's, the largest producer is, write down, China. Largest producer is China. Triple G. Then you come to hafnium, indium. Hafnium, indium is very rare. We'll leave that. Lithium, largest producer. Very important. ABC are bulk of the producers as a group. The largest, that's again a common confusion. Yes, very good. Lithium, largest producer is Australia. It's not Chile. Molybdenum, largest producer is China. N for nickel. And there is one more very important element. It's called as niobium. Niobium, have you heard this? Niobium. Niobium. Is it visible, clear in the end? Niobium is used for what? Used for what? It's used in rocket engines. You write down. It's used in rocket engines, and it's used in space. And the largest producer is Brazil. Anyone largest producer of nickel? Very good. Very good. Have you studied mining before? Very good. Very good. Newspapers are very important. But what's the problem of nickel in Indonesia? You're right. Very good. I appreciate that. They are the largest producer. Produce kar lete hain fir. They are maintaining an export ban. nickel which is used in batteries is not being allowed to import from Indonesia. So that is why we have to look for other countries to import nickel in the country. Just remember, largest producer is Indonesia. Then PPP. क्या क्या होंगे PPP? Yes, potash. Largest producer is Canada. Then potassium. Sorry, phosphorus. Please correct it. Not potassium, it's phosphorus. I'm so sorry. And again, if somebody has studied mining, this is a very important group of 5 elements that's the best example of a country having it all. And again, example of child-related mining, artisanal mining issues that we have from this country. Very important. Very, very. The females would know. You buy gold, you buy silver, you buy diamond. Very good. It's called as PGE. Platinum group of elements. Largest producer is platinum. Largest producer is no. South Africa. Very good. Very good. South Africa. I hope it is coming easy. It is coming easy. This you need to revise once. You have to revise it once. It's a core, hardcore fact prelim area, just like ancient medieval. This is the highest levels. ये याद हो गया तो कुछ बचा ही नहीं है. Issues solution हो तो बहुत आसान है. यही सबसे मुश्किल है. ठीक है. उसके बाद next let's go ahead. R क्या है? R. Rhenium. Just know the name. Rhenium. S is silica. You might be surprised. Wraith. Sand. Silica is such an easily available element after oxygen on the crust. But the entire semiconductor industry, all that you know, a chip, microchip, A17, A18 of Apple, or all these Samsung chips, or let's say Snapdragon of Qualcomm, all of these chips are coming because of silica. I'll discuss that in the next topic. It's a very interesting technology. So all of that sand, which is available in bulk in India, but because it's important for national security and economic development, it might not be that much as a constraint in terms of global value chain. But even silica, that's a keyword. They'll ask you, which of the following is not a critical mineral? Silica, iron, manganese. You'll say silica also. That's wrong. It's a part of the list. Very, very important. Catch, just mark kariye. Silica is very, very important. ये याद रखना है. Silica भी है. मतलब silica is also critical mineral. Silica is also a critical mineral. S is selenium. Selenium has been asked in 12 or 13 prelims because it's used as an antioxidant in body. It was asked in Science and Tech that year, I remember clearly. S is? Okay, sure. You write down strontium. 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 And then 5 T's. Give me the list. First is very simple. Tin. Then tellurium. Then tantalum. Yes. Tin, tellurium, tantalum, it is heavy. You have to absorb it. There's no way out. You have to absorb it. Then, is it visible, this side? Okay. So actually, I cannot take this thing up. कहाँ तक दिख रहा है? Tantalum is visible? Tellurium के बाद लिखिए. You write. I'll tell you. Tantalum. Third T is tantalum. Fourth T is titanium. Fourth T is titanium. Fourth T is titanium. Fifth you write down is tungsten. Fifth you write down is tungsten. And then going to the last set, V is vanadium. And Z is zirconium. Z is zirconium. So a quick summary of what we have discussed till now. 30 minerals. What is the pneumonium? ABB, CCC, GGG, HILM, then NN, triple P, triple S, 5T, V and Z. Most important, which I think they'll ask, is cobalt, पूछ लिया, which is DRC. Second is lithium. Largest producer is Australia. Third is nickel. Largest producer is Indonesia. Copper. Largest producer is Chile. Then triple G, gallium, germanium, and graphite. Largest producer is China. And just add 2-3 more I'd like to add in the list. Write down. Cadmium, write down, the largest producer is China. Largest producer is China. Right? Producer China. And you just write down some important fact. This is the next level of fact which I'll segregate for you to remember. Write down, out of these minerals or elements, quickly write down. Out of these minerals or elements, the following are 100% imported. Very, very important. Which of the following are completely imported by India? It has to be by heart. जरूर पूछेगा. मतलब पूछेगा तो obviously, but there's a high probability, because I'll tell you, in Indian geography questions in prelims, they will ask you questions like this, that consider the following statements. 90% of limestone is found in Andhra. 90% of nickel is found in Odisha, which is true, Sukinda Valley, and 90% of tungsten is found in Rajasthan. This is how they ask. So they can surely ask this. You take down the countries, take down the nations, 100% import, you have to by heart it. Write down, number 1 is, very, very important, beryllium. Then write down cobalt. Very important, cobalt. Germanium. Lithium. Then write down niobium. Largest producer was niobium. Brazil. Niobium. And then write down nickel. The tough R out of the 2 R's, rhenium. And now secondary by hearting. This is primary. Then I could not do it. I don't think they'll ask this, but you still write down 2 more, strontium and tantalum. इसको अलग से लिखिए ताकि लो प्रायोरिटी बाय हार्टिंग है. Strontium and tantalum. Is it fine? That is what you need to by heart. Just write 2-3 lines more about REEs because they are slightly interesting for the examination. A question will come straight for your prelims regarding largest producer, that's China, 63%, 90% processing by China. But let's discuss them a bit. Write down REEs. Rare earth element. Is it clear this side? And strontium. STRONTIUM. Tantalum. TANTALUM. Tantalum and strontium. If you can by heart, that's okay. I would say you can skip. Is it fine? Now you write down a bit about rare earth elements. This is very important. They might ask you a question. In the light of energy transition that India is envisaging under the Paris Agreement, discuss the importance of rare earth elements. I'll show you how to write. Tough questions we'll attempt. You look at this, you'll get the idea. So you write down, very important, rare earth elements. REE. Rare earth elements are 15 elements of the lanthanide series. 15 elements of the lanthanide series. Remember periodic table? The ones who've not studied chemistry, they would not know. I think it's in class 6th, 7th, 8th also. Remember the periodic table? Just have a look. There's no need to write. Just to give you a feel. Something like this, even I don't remember though. Something like this used to be the periodic table. Assume it's a periodic table. Something like this. And there you had this group of LA used to be here, and then in the bottom we used to have the list of 15 elements. This is called as lanthanide series. क्या क्या lanthanide में वो नहीं पूछेंगे, lanthanide बस याद रखिए. Write down 15 elements of lanthanide series and two more, which is scandium. SCA, scandium, and yttrium, 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 in bracket, have got similar chemical properties. Just one keyword I want to get familiar with. Have similar chemical properties as the lanthanide series. Very, very important for the prelims. These REEs, quickly, these REEs have the following properties. Anyone? Chemistry or chemical engineering? REEs, what property they are famous for? REE. Someone studied chemistry, chemical engineering, BSc chemistry? कोई किसी ने भी नहीं पढ़ा? ठीक है, लिखिए, बहुत जरूरी है, बहुत हैवी है. फर्स्ट इज मैग्नेटिक प्रॉपर्टीज. REE is 60% is made in China. चाइना करता क्या REE के साथ? Okay, I'll tell you. Write down. Magnetic properties. Second, catalytic properties. They improve the reaction. Catalytic properties, very important, has to be by hearted. लिखना पड़ेगा ये. Catalytic properties. और तीसरा लिखिए. Third, you write down. After catalytic, write down phosphorescent. I'll write it here. You know this, but you don't know this term. Phosphorescent. Phosphorescent is what? Glows in light. जैसे that what's that animal called? Firefly. हिंदी में बोलते हैं जुगनू. तो जैसे वो रात को it emits light. That is how it is phosphorescent. Phosphorescent. I'll use this in semiconductors. Yeah. Fluorescence, phosphorescence are the same strands of characters of a metal. When we classify metals elements, we say they are fluorescence and phosphorescence. I think there's different how they behave in different types of light from what I can remember. But let's not go into it. This is more than enough. And write down, likhiye isko. They are popularly known as what? Write down. This is the keyword. Seeds of technology. तकनीक के बीज. ये मत लिखिए, वैसे इंग्लिश मीडियम में नोट्स रखेंगे. सीड्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एज दे हैव गॉट वाइड यूज इन. कहां यूज होते हैं ये? एज दे हैव गॉट वाइड यूज इन. नंबर 1, यूज ऑफ परमानेंट मैग्नेट्स. दैट्स द मेन यूज ऑफ परमानेंट मैग्नेट्स. कहां यूज होता है मैग्नेट? मुश्किल होगा. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियर इन क्लास, वो भी कोई नहीं होगा. इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर इन क्लास. यस. स्पीकर इज अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल. फोन खराब होता है तो स्पीकर जब यहीं गफार मार्केट से आप चेंज कराएंगे तो वो बोलता है ना कि ये खराब हो गया जी, ये चेंज होगा. तो नॉर्मली वो मैग्नेट खराब होता है. वो मैग्नेट सबसे सिंपल यूज है, मतलब बिकॉज फोन इज वेरी चीप. मैग्नेट्स आर यूज्ड वेयर दे आर यूज्ड इन मैन्युफैक्चर ऑफ no. That yes, but not the yes I want to know. Write down. Permanent magnets in wind turbines. Wind turbines and other electronic products. and other electronic products. Also used in everything basically, also used in number 1, defense, then automobiles, telecommunication, and aerospace. Write down, India possesses only 1%. India possesses, very, very important. India possesses only 1%. Don't write possesses, write down produces. Produces. Strike or possesses, write down produces only 1%. Only 1%. In bracket, versus China. बताइए जल्दी. Versus China, 63%. 63% and 90% processing. Is it fine? So we know what are critical minerals, what are basically the list, the definition, specific values. Let's come to the next head now, all of you. What's the next head? This is very simple. Next head you write down importance. याद होना चाहिए, वापस मत देखिए. It should be in your brain. It's 100% logical. Importance, write down. First importance, write down. Important for write down twin revolution. Which is what? First is energy transition. Twin revolution, first is energy transition. And second is, write the way I write on the board. And digital transition. Digital transition. Energy transition, give some examples, write down. For electric vehicles, we use cobalt. एक लिखते रहिए. Electric vehicles, we use cobalt. Then second, in batteries, we use what? Lithium. We use nickel. We use graphite. Right? Then you write down. In digital revolution, you just write down it's used in telecommunication equipment. Keywords, just the keywords. Then you can write down also used in mobile phones. In manufacture of semiconductors. In bracket, I'll give you a keyword, chips. I'll discuss it later. Just write down chips in bracket. After this, you write down used in manufacturing of smartphones. Semiconductors. The last one is semiconductors. I said in bracket, write down chips. Semiconductor chips. Then you write down it is used in, you'd be surprised to know, pharmaceutical industries. Pharmaceutical industries. So when you say pharmaceutical industries, you can write down so I'll give you the part of body and I'll give you how it is used. 1, 2 you should by heart. This will give you a beautiful added advantage. Though it's slightly 1% more than we want, but I want you to write it because they can ask you. I was surprised to know that it is even used in this sector. So you please write it. Is it fine? Write down, for gastro medicines, we use bismuth. बहुत easy है वैसे याद करना. गैस्ट्रो सेक्टर, गैस्ट्रो इज स्टमक. अगर गैस की कोई प्रॉब्लम हो तो जो मेडिसिन हम लेते हैं उसमें बिस्मथ ट्रेस एलिमेंट की फॉर्म में यूज होता है. इसके अलावा यू विल बी सरप्राइज टू नो, इवन आई वाज सरप्राइज टू नो, राइट डाउन, फॉर एंजाइम फंक्शन वी यूज कॉपर. फॉर एंजाइम फंक्शन वी यूज कॉपर. पोटेशियम is used in what? Basic general knowledge, medicine. Somebody good with medicines would know. I know this. Potassium, ORS लेते हैं. ORS, dehydration जब होता है तो we give intravenous fluids. Doctor immediately gives you that it contains a critical element. Nobody? Okay, I'll tell you. Write down your in intravenous fluids. Intravenous fluids we use potassium. We use potassium. And then very important, visible all of you? Okay, how do I adjust it? Where were you? I'll dictate it to you. What was the last point? Intravenous fluids, we use potassium. Just write down, we use potassium. And very important, you should remember it, for curing bipolar disorder, we use lithium. For bipolar disorder, we use lithium. Its basic uses. First is twin transition. इसको ऐसे ही लिखना एग्जाम में. Twin transition, pharmaceuticals. Third, write down agriculture. Agriculture sector. Keywords you need to write. This is very simple. You can make a sentence on your own. Third, write down agriculture. Write down in bracket manufacturing of fertilizers. Manufacturing of fertilizers. Manufacturing of fertilizers. Like what? DAP is the exact name. You give me the name of the element. Yeah, potassium and potash. Potassium and potash. Next point, national defense. National defense. National defense. In bracket, what was that element? Largest producer was Brazil. Write down niobium. 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 Write down, and tungsten, titanium. Tungsten, titanium. Next point, write down, important for creation of gigafactories. Underline this keyword, gigafactories. What is a gigafactory? Write down, yes, write down in bracket, factories that produce batteries at a large scale. Batteries at a large scale. And integrate various processes to achieve. Integrate various processes to achieve. Economies of scale. Economies of scale. This is the major use. Now write down some secondary points quickly. Apart from the above, quickly, you have to prioritize the points when you write answers. So ये याद करना है. उसके अलावा it should flow in you. It will start flowing in you impromptu when you take classes. You will automatically understand it. Write down. Apart from the above, it will, number one, जल्दी लिखिए. Be quick. Apart from the above, क्या होगा बताइए? दिस सेक्टर नंबर 1 will foster innovation. कहां पे innovation? Innovation where? Write down in the mining industry. In the mining industry. क्यों होगा? क्यों? सिर्फ ये नहीं लिखना आंसर में वन लाइनर्स की फॉस्टर इनोवेशन, आगे नहीं, कुछ नहीं मिलेगा उसका मार्क्स। क्यों होगा इनोवेशन? माइनिंग सेक्टर में इनोवेशन क्यों होगा? व्हाई? या राइट डाउन बिकॉज ऑफ सेम कीवर्ड्स हैव टू बी रिपीटेड। कॉम्प्लेक्स व्हाट? कॉम्प्लेक्स वैल्यू चेन। complex value chain. Second, generate employment. Biggest concern. Jobless growth that India has. I'll take up maybe in the third class. Generate employment. Third, what else? Jaldi bataiye. Yes, I'll use it in the end. What else? Write down. Reduce the import bill. Quickly. Reduce the import bill. Fourth, will lay the foundation. Will lay the foundation. Kiski foundation? Keep on thinking. Lay the foundation of what? Of fourth industrial revolution. ये बहुत जरूरी है. Keyword सिर्फ एक. Fourth industrial revolution. This is what PM said September 13th, 14th in Hyderabad virtually. In bracket, as India was a late entrant. लिखते रहिए. As India was a late entrant. किसमें late entrant थे? In the previous 3 industrial revolutions. In the previous 3 industrial revolutions. In the end, last conclusion of this point, I'm giving you like this. After this class, 2 classes, I'll simply write so that you just develop the writing method style. Last write down. How will you conclude now? अब हो गया, ये जो बताना था बता दिया. अब एंड की बात, कंक्लूजन, इट हैज टू बी अ ग्रैंड स्ट्रेटजी. मतलब जैसे आपसे कोई चीज सवाल पूछे, आप सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात, यू लीव इट फॉर द एंड. सो इन द आंसर्स समथिंग ग्रैंड. यू नाउ जूम आउट. You were at critical minerals. I've discussed everything. 1 page. This is a 250 word answer complete. Basically, you're attempting 10 questions in one topic. What's the larger point? The PM says it. The finance minister spoke on 23rd of July in the budget regarding this sector. Write down. This sector is important. This sector is important for. This sector is important for. Very good, Rohit Tripathi. That's the keyword. For Atmanirbhar Bharat. लिखना ही है हर क्वेश्चन. सुबह शाम आत्मनिर्भर भारत, इंटरव्यू में आत्मनिर्भर भारत. ये नहीं बोलेंगे तो मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. जो गवर्नमेंट लिंगो है वो आपके लबों पे होना चाहिए. जो सरकारी लिंगो है वो आपको, यू शुड रिमेंबर इट. कीवर्ड्स, ट्विन ट्रांजिशन, सीड्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, उसको ये दिखाना है. ये आपने दिखा दिया, एग्जाम्पल दे दिया, दैट इज ऑल. That's my point. If they ask you, please tell me the importance of critical minerals, you will say technology, development, supply chain. For example, that is done and dusted. What you write in answer, you speak that in the interview. That's a simple strategy, right? And write down, and Viksit Bharat. And Viksit Bharat. Viksit is develop 2047. We want to be Viksit. हर answer में economy, science and tech, हर जगह Viksit Bharat you have to write. Common conclusion. There's no need to worry. You can easily write. And one more thing, the heaviest keyword. Write down. आज के जमाने की बात. बताइए. ये कहीं नहीं मिलेगा आपको, किसी भी मैगजीन में, वो जो YouTube पे आप देख रहे हैं. बताइए. बताइए. Write down. It is, yes, digital. India came in 15. Something to digital. Very good. I appreciate your knowledge. Write down, it is important in the present era of AI. I'll teach you in detail. Don't worry about AI. It is important in the present era of AI, that India has what? Yes? Write down, digital sovereignty. Very, very important. Digital sovereignty. Digital sovereignty. We are independent digitally, which means what? How will you get, okay, if I ask you, how will India become digitally sovereign? In bracket, by having control of data, comma, building digital infrastructure and strong regulatory framework, strong laws, strong regulatory framework. Strong regulatory framework. Right? So that's the importance of your critical minerals. Now what? Yes. Now what? Now what's the next part? Don't turn back the pages. Structure is very important. You have to think structurally. You have to speak structurally. Identify the why, importance, issues, government of India, and your way forward. So now, what's the next point? Quickly. Issues और साथ में issues तो challenges एक ही हो गए ना. Issues और सरकार ने क्या किया? Issues के मुताबिक सरकार ने क्या किया और क्या हो सकता है? ऐसे आपको सोचना है. तो अब आप नए पेज पे आइए. Flip your pages by 90 degrees, right in horizontal mode. Up, you maintain a font size, small font size, because you need to write so many things here. It has to be clear. It's very easy. Tough part is over. You write in smaller font size. You now make a table. Make a table with 2 columns. Write like this. First, write down issues and challenges. Issues and challenges. Issues and challenges. And then second, write down steps taken by India. Steps taken by India. How I would by heart it, how I would write it in the exam. Tables we use for 10 markers, 150 words. In a 15 marker, you should remember it like this, but when you write in the exam, you first write the issues and then you give solutions. But because you're by hearting it right now, we'll do it like this. So issues, how will you point out the issues? By one simple thing. This is very easy. This will flow in you. Issues, to think of the issues, I'll tell you simple idea. You think about the entire mineral chain. Think about the issues that we have in exploration. Then think about, very good, mining or extraction. Kya issues hai? Then beneficiation, or you can write down processing. After processing, you can write down end use. I'll add one more. It's something called as a circular economy. So we'll add recycling. This is the core issue part that we'll write, and we'll also add 2 more things here just to have a thought. After this, just to have a thought, after this entire cycle, we write down geopolitical concerns, and supply side constraints. Is it fine? So I'll write it separately. You write in your table and you need to write in a smaller font. It will become cluttered. तो बिल्कुल छोटा छोटा लिखिए ताकि एकदम clear image आपके brain में generate हो. ठीक है? I'll start with the first point. I'll use a new page. You write in the same page. Now first I'll write down the issues that we have regarding exploration. What's the first issue of exploration? First issue, exploration critical minerals. Low funding. Low funding means what? Write down a fact, you need to remember it. India spends 1% of global exploration. 1% of global exploration. 1% of global exploration. Second, there is lack of private interest. There is lack of private interest. Why? क्यों private sector नहीं लगाता पैसा? Because of high cost, and this is very interesting, I'll discuss it in a bit, and policy constraints. ये बहुत interesting है, policy constraint, इसको discuss करेंगे, steps taken by India में. Underline this. Policy constraints. Right, in bracket. What is the main law that deals with mineral exploration? Asked in prelims 4 years back regarding major minor minerals. There's a beautiful judgment that came up a month back. Supreme Court has changed the entire framework of sharing of taxes that the government of state attains when they auction a mine. I'll discuss it separately. That's a heavy judgment. I'll discuss it later. In that discussion, you had seen the name of this law. This is very important. Yes, very good. Write down just the name. Policy constraints, I mean in constraints in MM, mines and minerals. Mines Act bhi yaad karenge, it's more than enough. Mines Act, mines and minerals, proper law is Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation. You write Mines Act, I'd be happy. Mines Act year is 1957. I'll discuss this constraint when we look at the solutions. Is it fine? Right? Or chota likhiye thoda thoda. You'll get used to it, right? In a smaller font, you want to get the exact picture of what we have done for each of these concerns. Then write down, this is very interesting. Your mineral reporting is very poor. Mineral reporting standards is poor. The government records, they are not up to the mark. It's like saying in 2015, we changed the definition of GDP. That is what happens in the mining industry. There are global standards that we have to maintain. But in India, they are not up to the mark. Just to tell you, there are different types of resources, inferred, indicated, if you go into mining exploration. So this lithium, we got excited when we found in Riyasi, when the government of India addressed this policy constraint, which I'll tell you, and they had thrown open for auction. Not even a single private producer had come to actually mine this lithium. वैसा का वैसा ही है. तो policy constraints को address किया government of India ने with the amendment that came last year. I'll discuss it in the next part what we have done. Despite that, there is no investment. I'll discuss it later. Just know the thought, right? And then you write down. Now, very interesting. Write down exploration in India exploration in India is what is focused on bulk and surfacial minerals. Bulk and surfacial minerals. Bulk and surfacial minerals, surface पे मिलने वाले. Bulk and surfacial minerals as compared to critical. Quickly, as compared to critical, which are what? Keyword is deep. Right? Deep-seated. Now see, I'll show you a diagram if you can understand. If you can draw, diagrams are very important, but don't go overboard with diagrams. Diagrams, they should help you convey the idea. Just for your information, let's say if this is, if I just draw the entire structure of Earth in a very simple manner, let's say this is your crust and this is Earth. So your normal minerals, let's say I talk about, maybe iron, Fe, they'd be found here. It can be found as a layer. It can be found as a node. But this is called as node of iron. Right? So this is primarily limited. If I just tell you the distance, I'd say, let's say almost 5 kilometers from the surface. If I'd like to just show you, just try to understand that if this is the Earth's crust, somewhere here you would find iron. Maybe it could be in the form of a sedimentary layer because it's found in different deposits. Sediment की तरह भी मिलता है, nodes की form में magmatic intrusion से बनता है, metamorphic process बहुत सारे हैं. पर अगर critical minerals को हम देखें, critical minerals are not found at the surface. If let's say this is what? क्या है ये? Plus. This is basically the geological way of representing igneous rocks. So if I say this is magma, and there must be, this is what, some 100 kilometers, I tell you. You can draw this diagram, it's very important. 100 kilometers. So the magma will erupt, and there are processes by which these elements, they come out and they deposit here. Let's say somewhere, it could be, let's say, somewhere like here, this way. So just to explain, and distance, this is the crust. Show the distance. And the best example of this would be deep-seated is gold, though it's not critical mineral. But gold is in that list of laws, so we'll write PGE. Platinum group of elements. Is it visible, the diagram? Can you draw in the end? Is it fine for you to draw in the end? Please draw this diagram then. I'm not very familiar with this screen for the moment, so I'll familiarize. But you should draw this diagram. Show this magma, and right outside is very interesting process how these develop, but that's not important. Just write down PGE, platinum group of elements. Right? Second, after exploration issues, is it fine? Should I go ahead? After this write down, second write down is mining issues or extraction. Mining issues, they are very simple. They are deep-seated. Example deep-seated ka. Shift the screen up. Actually, I cannot do it. I need to do it in the PDF. they were telling me, but is it not visible like this? Okay, I'll write it here. Should I change the page then? Okay, I'll change the page. Write down like this. Second is mining issues. You can write in keywords. Mining issues, write down. They are deep-seated. Example, platinum group of elements, PGE, and geologically, write this keyword, geologically, they are hard to extract. Geologically, they are hard to extract. Best example. In bracket, give the example, you have to write it. Example is lithium. In India is found in granite. It is impossible to break granite. It is used at homes as a boulder stone. It's too strong. घरों में पत्थर क्यों लगाते हैं कि घर जब बनाते हैं कि स्ट्रॉन्ग हो. उस ग्रेनाइट के अंदर इंडिया में लिथियम मिलता है. लिथियम इन एबीसी, अर्जेंटीना, बोलिविया एंड चिले, that's formed, very good, that's formed as brine. Just know, you understand brine, it's a salty solution. If you've seen Rann of Kutch or these lakes in Rajasthan, they have got a pan of fluid and evaporation takes place and you get salt. Exact same way in ABC countries, geologically, lithium is exploited, explored and mined as a brine. तो वहां पे भी लिथियम है, भारत में भी है, पर भारत में वो पत्थर में पाया जाता है जिसको तोड़ना, एक्सट्रैक्ट करना इम्पॉसिबल है. ठीक है, तीसरा लिखिए. अगेन, लैक ऑफ प्राइवेट सेक्टर पार्टिसिपेशन. लैक ऑफ प्राइवेट सेक्टर पार्टिसिपेशन. Lack of private sector participation. And then we come to processing, where you can write down lack of processing, lack of processing facilities. Lack of processing facilities. You can write this point like this in the answer, in bracket, versus as compared to China. इसमें notes में लिखिए versus China. These facts, they might look heavy. Classes will be heavy, but once you revise, you'll get all of it. Don't worry. Content से मत घबराइए, ये आपको लिखना पड़ेगा, बहुत जरूरी टॉपिक है. जो भी टॉपिक क्लास में लेंगे वो हाइपर इंपॉर्टेंट होगा, तो घबराइए मत. लिखिए एग्जाम्पल, चाइना. Processes, number one, processes 35% of world's nickel. Largest producer कहाँ है? निकल कहाँ मिलता है? इंडोनेशिया. प्रोसेस कहाँ होता है? चीन में. 35% of nickel processing in China. Second, more than 90%, more than 90%, more than 90%, more than 90% of REE. तो बचा ही क्या फिर? There's nothing left. And it gets more interesting after we discuss these mining points. And one more thing you write down. Third is lithium cobalt. For lithium and cobalt, guess the percentage. Don't guess it because you don't know. There's nothing called as guess in civil services exam. You have to know that topic. Write down it is 70%. I hope you all are surprised. These are very interesting, how China controls the entire value chain. Everything under the sun regarding semiconductors critical is with China. Next point, this is what, where are we? We were in processing. Now what's the next step? You processed. I got lithium in my hands. What will I do now? Yes, end use. You write like this. End use industries, end-use industries are lacking. Again, example China. You'd be surprised to know these facts. In fact, because of this dominance of the Chinese, there's a PLI scheme that we have launched for a specific type of product used in electric vehicles. I'll discuss that later when I'll discuss the entire manufacturing in the class. Core manufacturing, I'll take some time later after the budget comes up next year. But you write down in bracket, example China, you write down manufactures 72%, 70% याद रखिए, easy रहेगा. 70% of what? Write down world's solar modules. इसमें भी बड़ी अच्छी कंट्रोवर्सी चल रही है सोलर सेक्टर में भारत में. I'll discuss it later when I'll take energy transition as a complete topic. सारा डिस्कस करेंगे उसको. ठीक है. 70% of solar module which is used everywhere in the world to generate solar power. इंडिया में सोलर प्लांट्स तो बन रहे हैं. सोलर प्लांट्स टारगेट्स है 500 गीगावाट 2030 तक वी हैव टू जनरेट इलेक्ट्रिक पावर. पर वो प्लांट बन रहा है, लैंड एक्वायर हो रही है, इन्वेस्टर्स इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. प्लांट लगाने के लिए क्या चाहिए भाई? जब धूप आ रही है और बिजली प्रोड्यूस करनी है, उसकी आपने जमीन दे दी, सब्सिडी दे दी, पीएलआई दे दी, सब दे दिया. पर जो मेन पार्ट है सोलर मॉड्यूल, वो सारा चाइना से इंपोर्ट होता है. एक एक चीज इस हद तक कि डोमेस्टिक प्रोड्यूसर्स आर सेइंग दैट यू स्टॉप इंपोर्टिंग फ्रॉम चाइना, बट देयर इज नो वे आउट. जो चीज वहां से 10 रुपए में आ रही है और वो इंडिया में 100 रुपए में बन रही है, इतना फर्क है. इट केम अप इन द इकोनॉमी सेक्शन एक्सप्रेस 15 days back. They all protested. I'll discuss it later when I'll take energy transition as a complete topic. Is it clear coming to you? Right? 70% of solar modules. Second point, it's not over. Look at the dominance. 40% of wind turbines. 40% of wind turbines and 70% of lithium-ion batteries. Right? This is the entire issues that affect the mining sector. Before I take you to the next part, just quickly write down the next point. Just the next point, after we are done with this end use, just write down along with the reasons above. Quickly write down, be attentive. Along with the reasons above, there is no recycling. There is no recycling. There is no recycling of critical minerals. There is no recycling of critical minerals. And thereby India is dependent on imports. This is one part of the issues for which you have to look at the solutions. Now comes the second part. Further ahead, go to the next page and you write down apart from next page in that table. Yeah, the same way. Because, I want you to, we are simplifying it to the possible extent. In the mains, if they ask you a simple question, critical minerals are important for Industrial Revolution 4th, or AI is based on critical minerals. Do you agree? You can write the answer from these notes. I'll show you. But if they give you a tough question like this, that, regarding critical minerals, instead of geographical or geological constraints, the major constraint is the concerns affecting supply chain. Full stop. Do you agree? give arguments. I'm discussing it like this because in the past 2-3 years, the difficulty level of GS paper 3 is increasing. So you have to open these strands. ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है क्यों उसको हम हर चीज को डाइसेक्ट करना जरूरी है ताकि क्लैरिटी आए. ये माइनिंग वाले खत्म. अब सेकंड लिखिए, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द अबव मेंशन्ड जियोलॉजिकल फैक्टर्स, the critical mining sector suffers from very, very important. I'll discuss global value chain as a separate topic, but you take it slow. Apart from factors, it suffers from supply chain constraints. SCC keyword. First keyword was supply chain constraint, and second was twin mission, twin revolution, digital and clean energy. Now you write down number 1. Supply chain constraint number 1. First is pandemic induced supply shock. Pandemic induced supply shock. Second, entire value chain is controlled by China. Entire value chain is controlled by China, which not only has reduced or banned the exports of REEs in the past. But is also further constraining एक तो सुनिए ध्यान से, भाषा बिल्कुल आसान होनी चाहिए. एक तो पहले ही सब कुछ चीन के पास है, अब वो तो उन्हीं का है, उस पे तो वो कभी भी बैन 2010 में लगाया था. जापान को बैन करना जापान को आरईज एक्सपोर्ट नहीं किए थे, 400% भाव बढ़ गया था आरईज का. तो एक तो जो उनके पास है वो तो उन्हीं का है, जो किसी और का है उस पे भी वो हक जमा रहे हैं. कैसे? प्रोसेसिंग, exploration, production and end use. They are now looking at countries which have got these assets. They cannot go to Australia. It's a part of Quad. It's like if you fight with me, you have a pact with my friend. That will never happen. So it is going to Africa. It is going to ABC. What is it? South America and Africa. So you write down, give some examples. It is further constraining. Kisko? Supply chain by acquiring global assets. हम भी वैसे बहुत तेजी से काम कर रहे हैं. By acquiring global assets. I hope you all are in your senses. You're not hungry. Hungry है कोई बात नहीं, फास्टिंग करिए. जितना कम खाएंगे उतना ही दिमाग तेज चलेगा. हमने लिखा भी था उसमें, वो फॉलो करिए. हमने नहीं किया पर आप फॉलो करिए. कम खाएंगे, थोड़ा सा एक साथ में केले पीनट्स रखिए. पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दीजिए. भूख में कम, जितना कम खाएंगे उतना ज्यादा न्यूरॉन्स अच्छे से वर्क करेंगे. इस पे नोबेल प्राइज भी मिला था. I'll discuss sometime later. This is not a part of the syllabus though. So you write down. Next point क्या है? लिखा था global assets. For example, control of cobalt production in quickly control of cobalt production in Africa, in bracket, DRC. Number 2, assets in ABC. Assets in ABC. What is ABC? Argentina, Bolivia, Chile. Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, in bracket, lithium triangle. Keyword you have to speak, adds accessories, it's an ornament in your answers. Lithium triangle. And third, write down bilateral pacts. Bilateral pacts with countries in Southeast Asia. Like in Southeast Asia, like Indonesia, because of nickel. What percentage of nickel is processed by China? 35%. Now you understand the game. Do you understand the point? How it is going everywhere? We are also going, actually, I'll discuss later though in the next discussion. Is it fine? Now you write down. Second, this is first was pandemic induced. First is pandemic induced, जिसमें किसी country का कोई role नहीं है. Second, China. Third, what? बताइए. Be alert, be attentive. War, very good. Which war? West Asia. उनके पास तो कुछ भी नहीं है सिवाय तेल के. Russia. Israel is good with semiconductors. I'll discuss in the next topic. I've discussed a beautiful example there. But you write down third. Russia, Ukraine war. Russia-Ukraine war has limited the supply. Of nickel, titanium, and palladium. PD. Nickel, titanium, and palladium. Platinum is PT, palladium is PD. Just know it. Is it fine? What else? सोचिए, alert रहिए. What else? एक तो पैंडेमिक के लेयर्स हैं. पैंडेमिक, चाइना, वॉर, एंड yes, the online students. Taiwan tensions is with semiconductors. Taiwan is not important for critical minerals. We'll discuss it later in the next topic. What else? Have a thought. इसके अलावा क्या हो सकता है? There was a term that was used in the economic survey. That's the buzzword now. There are 3-4 terms. Just listen and try to gauge the meaning. Try to gauge a hint. Can you all concentrate, all of you? Is it coming in your heads? Yes or no? Is it coming in the end? Right. बताइए. सुनिए. पहले तो सुनिए. Near shoring, friend shoring. नहीं. Offshore, onshore is different. Offshore is IR में, economics में दूसरे country में, और exploration of oil में समुद्र के पास. Onshore, offshore. Near shoring, friend shoring, reshoring. Reshoring is I was making something in China, I'm getting back in US, which is US, what they are doing now. Near shoring is I was making in China and I'm getting it close to me. Tesla, Musk. Batteries were made in China, now they are getting it in Mexico, right? And friend shoring. Because of the entire value chain being controlled by China, the Western nations, they are trying to form a bloc. The Western nations, they are trying to form a bloc against Chinese, which is further creating a dichotomy for a country which wants to get, import, produce what? Critical minerals. पहले भारत चाइना से भी ले सकता था और यूएस से भी ले सकता था, जापान से भी ले सकता था. अब यूएस और जापान ने क्या किया? नहीं, we'll not trade with a country which is trading with China. So they formed their own cliques. That has further constrained the entire supply chain of critical minerals, which was not happening till 4-5 years back. Just to give a thought, we are saying energy transition. The biggest threat to energy transition is nothing but the tussle between the West and the East. कभी नहीं हो सकता. हम इसको डिस्कस करेंगे, बस सोचिए, अभी सुनिए और सोचिए. ठीक है? Write down number 4. Give this subheading: geopolitical constraints. China +1 is what survey says. I'll discuss it later. Let's simplify. Geopolitical constraints. Geopolitical constraints. Write down. Write down. The alliances to ensure what? The alliances to ensure what? The alliances to ensure stable critical mineral supply chain. Stable critical mineral supply chain. Stable critical mineral supply chain. Stable critical mineral supply chain, comma, led by US, comma, EU, comma, Australia, comma, Japan. Comma, which are underline, anti-Russia and China. Have further restricted what? Further restricted what? Have further restricted the access to what? The access to the entire supply chain of critical minerals. जो पहले ही कम था उसमें भी क्लीक्स बन गए, तो जो स्ट्रॉन्ग है, रशिया चाइना इज डेवलपिंग वन क्लीक, वन ग्रुप, and they are saying we'll export only to the countries which we are familiar with. So India doesn't have any of the four. So we are caught between आगे भी खाई और पीछे भी खाई. That logic is there for India. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is it fine? And then finally, 1-2 points you want to write here. This is very important. And now you write down the third set of issues. You can just write down for the entire value chain to set up. For the entire value chain to set up. क्योंकि एंड में वैल्यू चेन पूरी सेट करनी पड़ेगी, सब कुछ लाना पड़ेगा भारत में. ठीक है? फॉर द एंटायर वैल्यू चेन टू सेट अप, द जेस्टेशन पीरियड, requires 10 to 15 years. Just write down gestation period is 10 to 15 years. The strike off requires. Gestation period is 10 to 15 years. And then, period is 10 to 15 years. And then you write down ESG concerns. Last point is ESG concerns. What is ESG concern? Have you heard this term, by the way? ESG concern was used by Mr. Amitabh Kant in his interview in some conference 8 days back. So what used to be sustainable development in any sector is now ESG. What is ESG? Environment, social and governance. तीनों के issues हैं. What is environmental issue of critical mineral mining? ऐसे याद कर लेते हैं. Environmental concerns of critical mineral mining. अब आप easy हो जाएगा. Social concerns of critical mineral mining. एंड गवर्नेंस इश्यूज ऑफ क्रिटिकल मिनरल माइनिंग, ये बहुत जरूरी है, ये बहुत ही बड़ा डिबेट है, एथिकल डिबेट, which I'll discuss. Just keep on listening. What you read to write in the exam is your write-up, but you should know the thoughts, because we'll correlate after 30-35 lectures everything. It'll be a proper structure in your head. You can write any answer on the spot. Like you give me any question, get from any test series. You give me the question of critical minerals, I'll do it right before you in 7 minutes, even less than that. Not because I'm very good, because I'm using the screen, it goes faster, but I can do that. You'll have that time, don't worry about it. What is ESG? What are environmental concerns? First, write down, there is water pollution, lot of it. Where? इसमें ग्लोबल बात करनी पड़ेगी, बिकॉज वहां से हम देख रहे हैं, इंडिया में तो कुछ है ही नहीं ना. तो एनवायरमेंटल कंसर्न्स इन वेयर? Tell me give me the example. Lithium mining in Chile. Lithium mining in Chile. Lithium brine, you write down. Let the examiner know you know it. Lithium brine mining in Chile. Water pollution, and it is affecting what? You all eat quinoa, right? It's not staple to us. It's not what we have it here, but it's grown. It's like wheat and rice in that country. So there's a lot of productivity going down because of this particular mining, lithium brine mining. So you can just write down, if you want to write quinoa production. You can also write acid mine drainage. Acid mine drainage. Acid mine drainage. Acid mine drainage. Then you can write down simple points, environment, basic general knowledge. We are putting in a box because you don't need to explain to the examiner. You write down land degradation happens in any mining, or ye to it's deep 60-70 kilometers, so it will be definitely more harmful. Land degradation, is it visible now to this side, all of you? Keep on interrupting me. Dikh nahi raha abhi yahan pe? Okay, land likh lijiye fir, land degradation. Right, third, write down biodiversity. Biodiversity loss and loss of habitat. Basic points. There's no need to go technical here. I cannot help. This is a very simple this thing. Loss of habitat. Basic civil services question. General studies paper 1. Discuss the effects of mining. Something like that. A basic framework will help you. Right. Then you write down social concerns. Very important. Child labor. Child labor. Child labor is used in artisanal mining, and a very important problem here is displacement. Problem is displacement. Displacement, I'll give you a very good example. It's in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. 70% produced cobalt in the world is DRC. And there is a group which is earning money from mining of cobalt. It is actually TTG, tantalum, titanium, and gold. The three metals found there. It's like blood diamonds, something like that type. And this group is very important for prelims because they ask you in IR cum World Geography section, which of the following areas were in news. They'll say North Kivu, and they'll give you a country, they'll give you a refugee camp, and then they'll say match the following, or they'll give you the name of a group. Like, Shabab, like all of these Al-Qaedas, and they'll match with the country, like Hezbollah, all these things. So there's this group which is called as, this group is appropriating the mining industry, and they are protesting against the state that comes to the governance framework of critical mining. What's the name of that group? It's a rebel group fighting against the state. Anyone knows? In DRC. This is called as M23. Have you heard? M23 rebels. Have you heard? Yes or no? M23, they are trying to utilize the resources of these mines for wrong purposes. Like they'll hire a group of children, not pay them, and use that money to propagate activities against the state. It's happening across the southern part of Africa. This is Central Africa though. In Zambia, in Namibia, in Zimbabwe, in Gambia, all these countries, it's very popular. Just to tell you, it's prevalent, because that takes me to the last concern, governance framework. What is the governance issue? Is it coming easy or not? Then give me the answer. Okay, illegal mining, I'll write it, or very good, or heavy point. Technical point. Illegal mining तो हर जगह होती है. Land, no. Heavy term. You write like this: suffer from poor resource governance in Africa and exploitation of critical minerals not visible this side, right? And exploitation of critical minerals will reinforce what is this? I'll give you some hints. Will reinforce. This is a very interesting debate. What is it? Something what was always done in Africa changed after AU emerged, Africa Union came, countries became independent, they spoke for their people, and now you have these critical minerals, we're exploiting them, we are going back to the same era. Yeah, so you write down colonial. What's the entire sentence? Give me the sentence.
Exploitation of critical minerals
Will reinforce the colonial framework of exploitation of the resources. Is it clear? You're not writing? अच्छा, इसके बाद भी तो लिखवा रहा हूं. Colonial framework of resource exploitation. Are we going back full circle? At one point we say, now look at the beauty. Their resources got exploited by the West. They got independent. We are saying sustainable development. Now you are saying the pinnacle epitome of development, sustainable, is what? Fuels, remove fossil fuels, clean energy. But when you focus there, wahan ka rasta jo aap le rahe ho, that is going back to the time, that is turning back the clock. Not because of mining, because of critical mining. इतना pressure है critical mining, इतनी ज़्यादा supply chain restricted है, हर country scramble of resources है Africa में. In fact, हम भी कम नहीं है, कम रहना भी नहीं चाहिए. We have to explore 40% of the trade that we have with Africa is regarding energy resources. 30% critical minerals Africa में है, Congo, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and they have something called as pit to port model. Pit to port model मतलब pit to port model. अब उनको समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं, ये तो हमारा एक्सप्लॉयटेशन हो रहा है. पिट मतलब खदान को निकाला, खदान से माइन निकाली, कोई प्रोसेसिंग नहीं, कुछ नहीं, सीधा पोर्ट में लेके गए. चाइनीज कंपनीज हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलियन कंपनीज हैं, इंडिया कंपनी है काबिल. I'll discuss it. Naam is interesting. Kabil. Straight away, get it back to my country. Now we'll see what has to be done. Do you understand? They process, develop, everything is happening under the control of Chinese. That is what is happening. Now they've understood. So from that perspective, a big concern is environmental, social and governance framework. अब क्योंकि हम करने वाले हैं ना अभी, तो ये फ्रेमवर्क हमारे लिए कंसर्न है. अभी हमें कुछ नहीं पता, हम सिर्फ अफ्रीका से सीख रहे हैं, साउथ अमेरिका में सीख रहे हैं. पर अफ्रीका एग्जाम्पल लिखिए आप. आया समझ में? ये इश्यूज हैं. कोई और इशू जो आप सोच पा रहे हो? ESG concern is different, Karthik. 3 concerns are there. First is mining related. Second is supply chain. Third I discussed here is what? ESG. This is you will not get it anywhere. This is the latest trend of research happening across the world for sustainable development. Should I go ahead now? Any doubts till now? There would not be any doubts unless you are not attentive. Is it fine? Now you come to the other side of the table. It's a bit hodgepodge. I understand, but it will simplify in the end. Don't worry about it. It's a bit hodgepodge, but you have to think like it. I'm sorry, there's no way out. You have to think like this. इसको सोचना देखना ऐसे ही पड़ेगा. Is it clear or not clear? Right. Should I go ahead? Right. Now let's go ahead. अब ये आ गया तो फिर अब कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. If you know exploration, now I'm coming here. I'll now write down the steps taken by India. So now you tell me the first issue, I'll tell you the step. What steps have been taken? नहीं, priority. Answer में ये नहीं कि ऐसे याद भी नहीं करना. Sense of priority has to be there in the points. Without sense of priority, you will not get marks. याद ही नहीं होगा. इतने सारे क्वेश्चन सामने देखते हैं, कुछ क्लिक नहीं करता. तो सेंस ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर एंड क्लैरिटी बहुत जरूरी है. फर्स्ट स्टेप क्या है? नहीं 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 नहीं. नो. व्हाट्स द फर्स्ट स्टेप? लो फंडिंग तो चलो ठीक है, अब उसकी फंडिंग बढ़ाई होगी ना इंडिया ने. नो. व्हाट्स द फर्स्ट पॉइंट? सबसे पहला काम सरकार ने किया क्या है? वो पूछता रहे कंट्री में और आप बोलोगे जी ये मिशन लिया है, अग्रीमेंट साइन किया काबिल, और वो जब वो और पूछ रहा है बोर्ड, वो आपसे एग्जैक्ट सबसे पहली चीज जानना चाहता है. इन गवर्नमेंट लिंगो यू हैव टू बी प्रिसाइज. कम से कम शब्दों में ज्यादा से ज्यादा बात कहनी है, और वही आपका आंसर है. हाँ, वो सेकंड है. फर्स्ट. यस, दैट्स द पॉइंट. सबसे पहला स्टेप मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में ही बोला, किसी कंट्री ने किया ही नहीं है. India, this joint secretary and 7-member committee, they had gone to EU, they had gone to Australia, they had gone to Japan, US, full stop. That is all. There's no list that they had to acquire. So we have to do what? First, what we've done is we've released a list. 2 में कमिटी बनी, 23 तो क्या हुआ? So what? क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स के लिए चाहे वो 22 में हो 23 में हो, सिविल सर्विसेज में 2-3 साल इज रिसेंट. Recently, India has done ABC. मतलब 2025 एग्जाम के लिए 23 से अब शुरू हो जाएगी. That is what my point is. Do you understand my points? Write down list of critical minerals released. अब ये नहीं एग्जाम में लिखना, released, full stop, next point. कुछ नहीं मिलेंगे मार्क्स, और अगर टेस्ट सीरीज में मिल रहे हैं वो गलत है. Substantiate. लिस्ट निकालने से क्या हुआ? I release a list of students who are part of my batch. उस लिस्ट निकालने से मुझे आपको फायदा क्या हो रहा है? What's the benefit? Yes, it can help in planning and strategizing. Simple list of critical minerals released, which will lead to simple planning and strategizing. बस इतना. First step. Second, Minerals and Mines Act 1957 was amended in 2023. Amended in 2023. What could be the amendment? Like if I give you a question in prelims, by basic application of mind and extreme form of elimination. Extreme preparation leads to extreme elimination. Elimination doesn't come like it. You need to have, yes. Private players कैसे? Private तो पहले भी थे. वो तो पहले से थी, 2015 से थी कंपोजिट लाइसेंस, कि आपको माइन एक्सप्लोर करनी है. एक्सप्लोर मैंने किया, कुछ निकला नहीं, तो कुछ रेवेन्यू नहीं मिलता था. Yes, that's the keyword. First 12 से 6 पर ये 16 12 8 इसमें नहीं घुसना. वो ऐसे नहीं पूछेगा. See, these minerals were in atomic list. No, rough estimate will work, but you should know what you said. Very good. Write down. Amended in 2023. First thing, first point. 6 critical minerals. 6 critical minerals. 6 के 6 याद नहीं करने, 2-3 याद कर लीजिए. सबसे पहला तो बहुत जरूरी लिथियम. You know it, the most important substance right now. Second is beryllium. Remember? ABB. What was the other B? Bismuth. Very good. And lithium, beryllium, and one more. Write down zirconium. 6 critical minerals have been taken out from list of what? Critical minerals. 6 minerals were taken out from the list of atomic minerals. Atomic minerals, which led to what? Which led to implies. Which led to what? Private. Increase नहीं, पहले तो था ही नहीं. Private sector participation. I mean, can you imagine such an important resource? Now you have a thought and you try to gauge how policy can play a very important role. There are so many factors. Such an important resource like lithium, which is in the hands of Chinese. 70% lithium is processed by Chinese. Largest producer? Lithium. Nahin. Chile was the confusion. Australia. But we in India, till 2023, not even a single private player. This auction happened when? This identification of, this lithium in Riyasi took place when? Not even a year before. That is after this amendment. I hope you understand. It was a big problem. So we took out these 6 and we now have, these are not atomic. Atomic can be mined only by public sector. And interestingly, now this is again very interesting. Not only private sector, also, you can write down, also, they have non-atomic uses. They have non-atomic. Lithium के non-atomic use हैं, पर वो atomic mineral है. तो ये तो all the more reasons was required. And second, visible here, all of you? Or no, yes or no? Visible that side in the end? Right. And one more, not visible this side. I hope you are connecting with me. I'm teaching critical minerals. Right. You write it, then I'll write it here. Non-atomic uses, and I'll write it here now. They are found closely with other minerals. Found closely with other minerals. So if I find lithium with a non-atomic mineral, I cannot mine it. निकाल ही नहीं सकते because सरकार आपको license देगी नहीं. GSI, Geological Survey of India, they have got a map, inventory है हर resource की. वो सरकार को देती है और फिर सरकार ऑक्शन करती है कि आइए ये रिसोर्स हमारे हिसाब से इतना है, एक्सप्लोर करिए और माइन करिए. तो अगर वहां लिथियम होगा तो वो सरकारी ठेका ही नहीं मिलेगा किसी भी प्राइवेट प्लेयर को, और उसके नॉन एटॉमिक यूज हैं. Are you trying to understand? Minerals, they have all the elements, they are found in a bunch, like, PG, platinum group of elements, gold, PG, they all are found together. In the nature, they are found like this. I hope you understand. Is it fine? Right. And then one more, this is the first amendment. Second is even more interesting. This led to auction of lithium in Riyasi. इससे पहले हो ही नहीं सकता था पर हो नहीं रहा था. Center can exclusively, इसको अंडरलाइन करिए, can नहीं shall. Center shall exclusively do what? Exclusively do what? Auction critical minerals. auction critical minerals. Critical minerals, but the proceeds of the auction, shall be with the states. So listen to me now. Earlier, these critical minerals, they were auctioned by the state governments. But states are like, states and center is totally different. States is 100 years behind center. What the center takes, Model APMC Act, Model Present Manual, they take the lead because they are the ones who know everything. They've got the mechanism, the best of the best minds. States, they follow. Very few states, they take the lead ahead of the center, like Tamil Nadu, like Andhra, like Gujarat, like Maharashtra. तो केंद्र को, राज्यों को राह दिखानी होती है. क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स 2023 से पहले जो उसका ऑक्शन था, जो निविदा थी, वो राज्य सरकारें दे रही थी. तो उनको फर्क पड़ता नहीं था, स्ट्रेटेजिक हो नहीं हो, माइनिंग डिपार्टमेंट अपनी मर्जी से अपने पेस पे काम करता था, तो ऑक्शन ही नहीं होते थे. अगर रिजर्व है, उसका जो ठेका है, उसका टेंडर है, वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट देगी, वो देते ही नहीं थे. फिर सेंटर ने ये अमेंडमेंट लाई कि मनी इज योर्स, पैसा तुम्हारा है, लैंड इज योर स्टेट सब्जेक्ट, दिस लैंड गॉट मिनरल्स, इट इज ऑल योर्स, बट व्हाट आई विल डू इज योर मिनरल्स दैट यू हैव, आई विल ऑक्शन इट. तो जो वो पैसा ऑक्शन का आ रहा था, वो पैसा स्टेट्स का ही है, पर जबरदस्त स्पीड पे, एट अ लाइटनिंग स्पीड, ऑलमोस्ट 40-50 blocks of critical minerals got exploited after this amendment, right within 2 months. And that is when the government of India had given the auction of that lithium. Hindu published the entire full page in the text and context section. But there was no person to come and, really start the mining, because that's not of good grade. Do you understand my point? And third, you write down what you had said. Third point you write down. It might look a bit heavy, but once you revise, it will be streamlined. You will never forget this topic, even if you get dementia or let's say you get a memory loss. Do you understand my point? This will never happen. So you prepare it like this. Is that fine? I hope you don't have it though. Third point, write down. This point, third amendment is very important. Write down a new exploration license. New exploration license was introduced for critical minerals, which are deep-seated, to promote what? Exploration, so yes. To promote what? Tell me, in the end, I'm teaching critical minerals though. I know it's a demo class. Tell me, to promote FDI. And very interesting, the keyword is JMC. It's not the college, by the way. What is JMC? Guess. This is very interesting. This is what the world does to explore these minerals. Australia is the best example. These are well thought out amendments. किसी भी अधिनियम में संशोधन आप सोच रहे हैं कब आएगा? सरकार ने, ये कितने सालों से हो रहा था, किसी भी अधिनियम का संशोधन करने के लिए सरकार 1000 बार सोचती है. तो ये तो आपको मुंह जबानी याद होने चाहिए. मतलब ये तो आपके जहन में, इट शुड फ्लो इन यू. क्यों हो रहा है ये? क्यों होगा बताइए? JMC is junior what? Medical college. Then junior what? Guess. Mining companies. बस ये आपको दिखाना है, इसके बाद सब इजी है. ये अगर किसी ने, what is the logic? Anyone can guess? Junior mining companies. Can you guess, Santosh? What's the logic? Try. You're also an aspirant. Huh? I'll just end the topic, then I'll give you a break, don't worry, but focus on this. Now I'll tell you. देखिए क्या होता है in this entire mining cycle, the biggest problem is exploration. This is a very heavy exploration of a mine is an altogether separate part of mining engineering and geology optional. Just to also tell you, it's like ancient medieval combined. That is the importance. So you have to employ radio techniques. You collect samples from the soil to understand their chemical properties. Just listen. You have to hire aircrafts. They've got radar and they try to see what is the mineral inside. Explore. They use geophysical techniques. They put electrodes. It's a very costly affair. It's like impossible, like millions of dollars. So you explore, and then when there is no mineral that you find out, then the government will not auction. So these private players, they refrain from investing in this sector. वो घबराते हैं, कतराते हैं. अब उनको लाने के लिए क्या किया जाए? जैसे मैं एक प्राइवेट प्लेयर हूँ, I'm a private player. I'm interested. मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया में Rio Tinto की specific, I'm a small vertical of Rio Tinto. It's a big mining giant of Australia, and they specialize in critical minerals. I got 100% FDI. आओ भारत में कोई restriction नहीं है. Australia is like the best of the best friends. We have a critical mineral partnership with them. We signed with US. So they all are close to us, but they don't come. Why? They say that if we come and if we invest, we explore, and there is no mineral, then आप तो कहोगे चलो हो गया ठेका नहीं मिला कोई बात नहीं जाओ. Bureaucrats they'll do like this. So that is what we did. This is very interesting. Now what we do is that FDI was always there. This license says that if 10 mining companies, junior ones, they come from Australia, Chile, and all these nations, they go for a tender. सबने price बोला. There is reverse bidding. Reverse bidding मतलब bidding का उल्टा. What is bidding? कि ये गाड़ी like हिंदी movies मैं 20 लाख दूंगा, वो दूसरा बोलेगा 25 लाख, 30 लाख, 40 लाख. इसमें इसका उल्टा है. What they do is, what the government says is that when we are auctioning the mine that you have explored, I explore, then the mine has to go for an auction. एक नया ठेका दिया जाएगा. The money that is paid by that mining company to the government, to the sarkar, out of that, a premium will go to that private junior mining company. I hope you understand. So let's say when I and 3 persons in this class, we go to Government of India, we say we want to explore. Give us the license. They'll say no. Tell me what percentage of the premium you will take from that mining company which will exploit the mineral. I'd say 5%. He'd say 4%. He'd say 3%. Okay, 3%. Reverse bidding. जो जिसका कम होगा उसको वो ठेका दे दिया जाएगा. दो फायदे हुए इससे, 2 benefits. First is that mining company is assured कि अब कुछ नहीं भी मिला, I'd be getting some percentage of money. This is what happens in Australia. सारा काम, सारे ये जो हमने डायग्राम बनाया था, this is all done by junior. ये कोई सरकारी फॉर्म्स नहीं करती हैं. This diagram, which I assumed was a diagram, this PGE, these deep-seated minerals, and Australia is full of them. All of them are done by junior mining companies, not the mining giants. Right? This is the plinth, and now you've got some more suggestions, some more measures which have been taken by the Government of India, which you know actually in the budget. Mrs. Sitaraman used this term thrice. Can you now tell me, is it clear? Is this point clear? Now rest is easy. Now you can think about the exploration cycle and also give me these points, like to understand this. Just hang on. Tell me the points. Think about how to promote mining in the country. Exploration, we have done this by changing the license and these 3 things. What else can be done? वो तो बाद में, environmental बाद में. Bureaucrats, environment सबसे बाद में. When you get the service, environment सोचोगे तो कुछ कर ही नहीं पाओगे. Yes? What is triple B? Okay, a point that works everywhere in civil services except ancient and medieval history and polity. But they'll come later. Everyone will. I'll also write it because everybody writes answers. सब answer writing धड़ाधड़ कर रहे हैं. सुबह answer, शाम को answer, test series ये वो सब लिखेंगे. Extra interesting point. बजट ये नहीं बताया तो कुछ नहीं बताया. पेपर सब पूरा करते हैं पर जो जानना चाहता है वो जो सरकार कर रही है वो क्लियर होना चाहिए. Tell me, budget 2024-25, 23rd July. PLI, who said PLI? PLI. PLI is for production. Product link, I'll discuss it later. That doesn't relate here. PLI can be given to recycling of industry that recycles the critical minerals, not to mining. Mining PLI नहीं कर सकती. मतलब कुछ बनाना होता है 100 पेन 100 गाड़ियां 400 गाड़ियां 600 गाड़ियां उसके लिए PLI 5 मिलियन मेडिसिन उसके लिए दी जाती है PLI 5 लाख बैटरीज एक साल में उसके लिए सब्सिडी मिलती है दैट इज PLI दैट्स अ कॉन्सेप्ट आई डिस्कस लेटर ऑन फॉर दैट टेल मी राइट डाउन in the budget 2024-25 in the budget 2024-25 number 1 import duty was reduced for critical minerals right अब इसमें अब याद नहीं करना कौन से मिनरल्स होंगे लिथियम इन ब्रैकेट लिख दीजिए लिथियम एग्जाम्पल लिथियम कितनी कम हुई है वो याद नहीं करना बस किसके लिए कम हुई है वो पता होना चाहिए लिथियम कॉमा गैलियम कॉमा जर्मेनियम and number 2 the behemoth will come after we have done this topic number 2 write down the national critical mission will be launched अभी सरकार काम कर रही है उस पे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ माइंस पिछले अगले साल 31 मार्च से पहले जरूर आना चाहिए नेशनल क्रिटिकल मिशन सारे आपके क्लास नोट से होगा आप देख लेना 100% because they'll provide one solution to all of these problems that is how government works do you understand my points what's the point yes this is the budget point next point write down the Ministry of Mines in bracket after the 2023 amendment is auctioning the critical mineral box right auctioning the critical mineral blocks to exploit the resources next point write down in your class notes to acquire global assets very important 100% important for prelims to acquire global assets the government of India has formed a company called Kabil in bracket Khanij Videsh Khaniges minerals right Khanij Videsh it should be V but to have a nice mnemonium and make it easy for the prelims for you the government says replace V with B Videsh BIDESH India Limited and this is working at a tremendous pace write down put a hyphen and write like this acquired assets very important Kabil has acquired assets in no yes Africa but Argentina that region is called as catamaran but don't go into it just write down Argentina and also Chile. Now for your prelims current affairs, this Kabil is a company which has been formed by incorporation of, so 3 PSUs have got stakes in this company, right? So government said that I will not give any money. You three of them pool in your equity and let's form this company. It's very easy to remember. The three PSUs, they should surely ask you. It is called as H&M. H&M, you know, is a brand. So that same H&M is the mnemonic to know these three companies. So if I now ask you yearbook, Minds chapter, and 3-4 questions coming every year in yearbook, they'll give you a PSU and they'll say which ministry, which I'll tell you sometime later how to do it. I'll take somewhere in the class also. So if I tell you it is H-N-M, can you guess the PSUs? H. Any PSU in the Ministry of Mines that starts with H. You would need to know the yearbook to get a feel of the government departments. Yes? Geography optional, right? Can you know geography will not be having that. You don't study that in geography. Write down. First is HCL. Shiv Nadar invested in Kabul. Is it the same HCL? HCL, not the IT firm. What is HCL, Ministry of Mines? Hindustan Copper Limited. It is the one that exploits the copper in which state? Copper, static, Indian geography, very important resource, 100% important for critical minerals. World's largest producer is? Copper largest producer कौन है? Yeah, child, Chile, whatever you call it. भारत में कॉपर कहाँ मिलता है? राजस्थान में कहाँ? खेतरी. और a geography optional, where is it found? Copper, Khetri, and there's a place which is called as Malanjkhand. Right, Malanjkhand is in Jharkhand or MP. I might be wrong with the exact state. And there's one more state. Yeah. That's why I said I might be wrong. Is it fine? So you write down Hindustan Copper Limited. It has got a 30% stake equity. N is like a behemoth. Very good. Nalco, National Aluminium Company, which is owning 40%. And third is M. From M, how would you know? You would not know this company. Write down Mining Exploration. Mining Exploration Company Limited. This is 30% stake. This is hyper important for your prelims. Hyper important. In prelims, also in current affairs, there has to be a sense of priority. I'll tell you, I'm running short of time today because we started late in this. This is a very important topic. It's a tough topic, so I wanted to take it at the start. I'll tell you how they ask current affairs in prelims because again, there's so many things. Prelims, current affairs, mein aise puchta. I'll tell you how they'll ask you. We'll develop a sense of priority. Right? Hang on, you need to write more. This is what, be attentive. This is a complete write-up. And in the end, I'll tell you how to keep it in your heads for your memory for the exam. Is it fine? Next step, write down. What do you think India is doing? Or you want a break? I want to start semiconductors after the break because that's a tough topic and it's a very interesting topic. Very tough and very interesting. I hope you don't get, this thing. बेहोश ना हो जाइए फिर हमें टेंशन हो जाएगी. अभी तो मैदान में उतरे हैं. Write down this point. Write down. Very important. Bilateral. अब यहाँ IR है. इसमें Prime Minister gave a very interesting term. I'll discuss it later. Bilateral and trilateral agreements are being signed by India. Simple points है वैसे. Bilateral and trilateral agreements. In bracket, what will you write? Mineral diplomacy. Mineral diplomacy. Mineral diplomacy. Example, give me. Example is US. India-US critical mineral partnership. India-US critical mineral partnership. Second, India-Australia. India-Australia and the recent one. This is what we wanted. Just like you want to crack civil services, the government of India was desperate to be a member of this bloc. Wonderful lobbying was done. The PM had gone to US in I think June, July last year. We were desperate to. It's like nuclear agreement that Mr. Manmohan Singh signed. And the negotiations, that was the thought. Do you know the name of this organization? We finally became a member. Yes. And we got more desperate. Why? Because this group was formed by US. Italy was made as the first member added. So we wanted to be a member, and we don't have good relations with Italy. So we lobbied with the US, and then we finally got the membership. This is like a big achievement in diplomacy. So you write down, in 2023, very, 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 very important. In 2023, India became a member of MSF. MSF is Mineral Security Framework. Very, very important. Very important. Should have been asked in prelims this year. Framework. Which is a block. Which is a block. Which is a block led by US. Which is a block led by US. For what? एक ही कीवर्ड हर बार यूज होगा. कॉम्पीट चाइना, ठीक है. कॉम्पीट चाइना ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते ना. If you are my enemy, I not say मैं तेरे को देखता हूँ. I write something else in a bureaucratic manner. What's that term? Yes. To ensure what? To ensure supply chain stability. That's the keyword. You need to write it, and that is all. Supply chain stability for critical minerals. In brackets, just write down, formed in 2022. Just keywords. Formed in 2022. Right? Jan 23, Italy got added. It was a big thing, so I want you to know this. Jan 23, Italy got added, and then June we became members. How many countries? All the names are not important. For civil services prelims, when they ask membership of any organization in prelims, they will not ask you a deep ingrained fact like this. If they ask, I will not want you to prepare it. This is over optimizing your limited processing capacity. You just need to write down members, write down it is US plus EU. US plus EU. US plus EU plus 13 countries. US plus EU plus 13 countries. Right? US plus EU plus 13 countries. Right? And then this is on the cards. It is recent. This might happen. It has not happened. It might happen. Write down in the end to promote recycling. This is very interesting. The Niti Aayog CEO recommended, and Ministry of Mines is working on it. काम हो चुका है, पर अभी तक हुआ नहीं है. Write down in the future, the government is in the process of launching. Is in the process of launching. In the process of launching what? Process of launching what? Process of launching PLI. Product linked incentive scheme. PLI is it's a very important game changer to reform manufacturing. I'll discuss it later in a separate topic when I'll take industry as one cohort of all the issues together, just like we've taken this topic. Right now, what is the sentence?
Process of launching
PLI schemes for what? Production करेंगे तो इंसेंटिव देंगे. किसका प्रोडक्शन करेंगे? माइंस का. Recycling industry. Recycling industry. I'll give you a keyword. This is very important. What is recycling of important minerals from the e-waste called? Geography optional. Recycling of metals from e-waste. What do you call it? Anyone knows? It's a very interesting term. I would not know, but it's there, but you don't know. It's like greenwashing prelims came up 3 years back, 2 years back. You know? Yes? Waste to wealth economies, circular economy, वो तो waste to wealth कैसे, इससे waste to wealth होगा. This leads to waste to wealth. You're right. You want to try? Or you're dying with hunger? I know that, but no, that's okay. Study and struggle should be your motto. I understand. I'm also hungry. I've not had anything since the morning, but I'm okay. You should also be okay. Tell me, it's called as urban mining. Have you heard this? सुना है पहले कभी नहीं? Urban mining is, which of the following means urban mining? It's exploiting minerals from the waste so that we recycle. It's very important. Cutting edge technology. Because I'll discuss waste management, how we manage waste in India in as one cohort. There I'll tell you how this is impossible and how West is way ahead of us. Is it fine? Do you understand my points? This is what we have done, or you can say that we'll be doing in the short term. Now what next? Now what next? Listen, hang on. In civil services mains, this is a common question statement that they use. Discuss the problems and prospects of critical minerals, like they use in geography paper 2. Discuss the problems and prospects of inland water transport. And every government document that you will study, in the end, survey says, survey also I'll tell you how to study that, don't worry about that survey. It says that outlook, end में हमेशा outlook होता है, उसका मतलब क्या होता है? Outlook, what is the outlook? In your opinion, they are important, we have done so many things. What's the outlook? Aim, or I can say future. मतलब क्या हम एक रेस में दौड़ रहे हैं कि बस सुपर पावर बनना है और सब क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स दे आर प्रमोटिंग, वी आल्सो वांट दैट, और डू यू रियली हैव सम method in the madness? What is the outlook? What is the future? Do you think we can promote this industry? That's the question. Is it coming clear? So when I ask you what is the outlook, what is the outlook of your preparation? Discuss the issues, problems and outlook of your preparation. Issues ये कि टाइम पे कंप्लीट नहीं होता, ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता. आउटलुक है कि हाँ मैं ये बनूंगा, ऐसा हो सकता है, मेरे में है, मैं बन सकता हूँ. As something like this. समझ में आ रहा है? और टिपिकल लैंग्वेज है सिविल सर्विसेज की. In bracket also write down prospects.